Hey guys, it's Kevin again, this for Bates Motel Season 3, Episode 8, The Pit, and this episode was amazing. Seriously, we are finally getting to that point of the show where we're finally getting to the psycho point of the show. I mean, we've seen Norman get into that psycho persona, but this was probably the first episode where we really got into how he's attracted to Norma and everything. I really love the way the episode dealt with that, and this was by far the best episode of the season. I mean, so much crazy shit happened in this episode, and I was so surprised by how much happened. But let's get into this episode because it was amazing, and I've loved it. So, we start off and we see Norma's waking up, and Dylan walks in. She tells him that it was great that Romero was at the dinner the night before, and Dylan tells her that he's going to the farm for a few days, and when he gets back, they need to talk about what they're going to do with Norman, because obviously, he knows that Norman has a problem, and they need to figure out what to do with Norman because they need to do something with him. They can't just ignore what's going on with Norman. They have to do something. So Norman's awake, lying in bed, and Norman comes into the, Norma is then awake and lying in bed, and Norman comes into the room and asks him how he's doing, and he says he is fine, and then he gets up to go to the office. He wants to be with Emma since she won't be around much longer, which I thought was good that we actually saw Norman have some genuine concern for Emma, but Norma then hears a truck outside. She's wondering what the hell's going on when she sees construction equipment, and Norma runs outside and she finds out that they have actually orders to dig a hole for a new pool, and the construction worker tells her that if she has any questions, she should ask Bob Harris. So Norman comes outside. He's upset that there was no money for down comforters, but there is money for a pool, and Norma tells Norman to just be happy that he's getting a pool, and he tells her to go inside and put some clothes on. So basically, Romero arrives at a dealership. He's looking for an early 70s Mercedes, and the salesman actually has one of those. So I thought it was interesting that the salesman actually had an early 70s Mercedes. I mean, that's not a car that you think they'd have, but they had it. So Romero tells the guy that the woman he sold it to wants it back, and I thought that was really interesting that we saw that. So Norma calls Bob. She wants to see designs for the pool, to see if this is legit and everything. And Bob's then down at the shipyard. They have James tied up and worrying about what they're going to do with him. And Bob tells James that he's looking for a flash drive and wants to know if he knows anything about it. And James tells Bob that Norma is his patient, and Bob knows different than that Norma spent the night. And Bob tells him that he needs stuff on Norma, anything at all. And James says that he won't break patient-doctor confidentiality, and he can go to hell. And one of Bob's men goes over to James and takes an electronic nail gun and shoots his foot, which I thought was insane when that happened. And, wow, I didn't ever think James would get, this involved in the story, but wow, I mean, that was crazy when that happened. So Dylan's at the farm, and Chick is getting him prepped for his drive, and Caleb walks up, and Caleb told him not to take this job, but you knew that Dylan was going to take it because he wants to help out Emma, of course. And basically he tells Dylan he doesn't want him to do this, and he's delivering guns, and what if he gets caught? I mean, it is a pretty risky job what he's doing. And Dylan tells Caleb that he's doing it, and Caleb tells him, though, that there's no way he's going to do this without him. And Dylan announces that they're both going, and they have rendezvous time, and I think it's good that Caleb is going with Dylan. I mean, make sure he wants to help him out and everything. I thought that was really good, but what Dylan's doing, he's doing this to help out Emma. That's why he's getting this job. And, as dangerous as it is, he's doing it for Emma. That's really why he's doing it. So at the motel, Norma places a call to James, who just got thrown out of his car and tossed on his lawn. And Norma leaves him a message, and she wants to know what he said to Norman the day before because he's distant and strange since then. And, of course, we know what happened. We know that he said that he needed help and that he couldn't help him. But, of course, Norma doesn't know any of this. So Norma's really trying to figure out what's going on because he's not talking to Norma. He's just being really distant overall. And I think that was just really interesting that we saw that. So Caleb and Dylan are on the road. Dylan thanks him for coming along. Caleb says that he understands why Dylan is doing this for Emma. And I thought it was good that Caleb realized, why he was doing this. And Dylan says that Emma is Norman's girlfriend. And Dylan says that Norman doesn't really like him. And Caleb says that the barn will be ready in a few weeks. And Dylan asks if he's leaving. Caleb says he can't push things. He can't just leave. And I can understand why Caleb doesn't leave. I mean, him and Dylan have a very good relationship right now. He doesn't want to ruin it. He doesn't want Dylan to get hurt. And he's honestly kind of worried about Dylan. I mean, what Dylan is doing is a risky job. So I can understand why he is worried for Dylan. I can totally understand that. And I thought that was really good that we saw that overall. I like seeing Caleb be genuinely concerned for Dylan, and that's something I've loved all season, just seeing the relationship between these two. It's very strong, and I love it. So Norma's outside. She finds out that the hole is actually 23 feet deep, too narrow for a pool, and Romero drives up in Norma's old car. She's thrilled that he bought it back, and basically, Romero finds that, and I love seeing her reaction. It's just like, oh my god, like, I just love Norma's reaction. And again, these two are extremely close, and I really do want to see them together. So Romero finds that the hole is too deep and asks where the plans are, and Norma says she doesn't have them yet, but the workers have assured her that it is a pool that they are digging. And Norma's touched that Romero brought her car back. She kisses him on the cheek. When she goes to leave, he has this look on his face, and you just know he has feeling. You can just see, just on his face, that he has feelings for her. And I know these two are getting together. Although after this episode, I'm not really so sure, honestly. After this episode, I'm not really so sure they're going to get together. I want them to get together, though. But Romero then goes to look at the hole, and Romero actually drops by to visit Bob, and he tells him not to screw with Norma, and basically, Bob tells Romero that he has to tell him a few things that he found out recently, and he should sit down. So he says he had a little session with her therapist, and he did a little digging. She was, having sex with Romero's deputy. And she also told the therapist that Norma killed his father, and she's using Romero. And Bob says that he is protecting his town, and he wants Romero on his team, and Romero leaves as Bob tells him to think about it. Now, of course, none of this is true. Romero didn't, she's not really using Romero. All she wants is for her car to get back so she can, fix the pool and everything. She's not really using Romero, so I thought it was really, rude what Bob was doing, especially because Bob was working with her. I don't like that he's already trying to turn against Norma, but you knew it was coming eventually. You knew it was going to happen. So Dylan and Caleb make a stop, and Dylan calls Emma to find out how she feels. It's a really sweet scene. Again, you really see how much he cares for Emma. Emma says she's okay. She's at the motel working for a couple of hours, and Emma asks if Dylan will be home later, and he says he will be gone for a few days to make money at the farm, and Dylan wishes her well and tells her if she needs him for anything, he won't be available, which is kind of sad, but I do like seeing that he does genuinely care for her and that he does want to be there for her. I thought that was really good. So Caleb's ready to go. He has a gun on him and hides on the side of the truck, and of course he is worried for Dylan's safety. So Norman is outside, calls the hole for the pool a bit, and Norman asks Emma to go to a movie. She tells him that they need to talk, and I was happy that she did this, because I honestly was worried about the relationship, and she then tells him that she was there the night he blacked out, and he's always somewhere, but not with her, and she basically tells Norman that this is not going to work out. She's breaking up with him. He's visibly upset, and I'm happy she did this because I was worried that Emma was going to find out in the wrong way, but she knows that there's something not right with him. She knows about the blackout. She knows something where it's happening to him, and she doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. And how can she be a supportive girlfriend? He's not there for her, which is true. They're never together. They've never been together at any point, and only recently he's actually done something, and basically we see that Norman's heartbroken by this. He runs in the house, and he's sitting on the rocker, and the dog comes up to him, and he tells him that the world is really a screwed up place. It's honestly a very creepy scene, and once again, Freddie Highmore just killed it in that scene. So creepy, and I loved it. So Romero's back at the motel. Norma answers the door and tells him that she's heating up some leftovers. She invites him in, and Norma joins Norma on the couch, and asks if she remembers the first time he met her, and he then tells her that he doesn't want to go inside the house, and he just wants the truth. He asks how, and I like that Romero asks this question. I definitely like this. So he asks how did her husband die, and Norma says that he died in the garage when a heavy shell fell on him, and that's bullshit, of course, because, Norman killed him, and Romero says it's the last chance. She says it's the truth, and Romero says goodbye and walks away, and Norma calls out for him, but he doesn't turn around, and I feel bad, because I really thought these two were going to get together, and now she might have just ruined it. She might have just ruined their chance of getting together, and I really did feel bad for Norma that scene, definitely. So inside the house, Norma's sitting on her bed. Norman walks in, tells her not to turn the light on. He asks her if she's afraid of him, and he says the thing James said he can't get out of his head because he thinks it's true. And he says that James thinks he's attracted to his own mother, and he actually brings this up, and I'm happy he did, because this, of course, is something that Psycho touched upon, is him possibly being sexually attracted to his mother, and as usual, Norman's just like, oh, this is nothing, this is just ridiculous, everyone has feelings, and he's just becoming sexually aware, and it's ridiculous, but it is not normal what he's thinking, and basically Norman should say, this is stupid, and Norman tells Norman that she never wants him to second-guess anything. They start hugging and fall down, lying together on the bed, and She tells him not to let anything get in the middle of them. This is the only thing that is real, him and her, and it's going to turn out terrible, honestly. You know that this is going to turn out horribly for the both of them, and we know the outcome. That's one of the things all about Motel is that certain scenes like this, we know the outcome, and that's what's so terrifying about it. So Emma's at the farm. She has brought a basket with flowers and brownies. She writes a note. Gunner's there. He tells her he was mean to call her. She says her health hasn't been good, and the last thing on her mind is something romantic, and I thought that was really good. I saw that overall. I thought that was good overall. I definitely enjoyed that. And I don't think these two are getting back together anytime soon, but they still have that connection. If anyone's getting together, it's going to be Dylan and Emma. I honestly could see Emma getting together with Dylan. I really could. I mean, he genuinely cares for her. I could definitely see it happening. Even though she wants nothing to do with romance right now, which I can understand. She's dying. She doesn't really want that, and I get that. So... And of course, she didn't want, her to have this, boyfriend that was unsupportive until she died. She knows she's gonna die soon, and she doesn't want this to happen. So, I'm calling it now, though. Emma's dying in this finale, okay? Emma's dying. Emma's, health is gonna fail in this finale, and I don't really see her living past this season. If anything, next season, I think either this season or next season, she's gonna die. I'm calling it now. So Caleb and Dylan arrive at their destination. Nobody's there, and Dylan asks if he's done this before, and Caleb says some. Dylan then asks why Caleb has a warrant. He explains it was on the run, and the driver got really beat up really bad. All of a sudden, a phone in a phone booth nearly rings. Caleb goes to answer it. Nobody's there. He soon realizes there's a cell phone taped to the wall. He answers it, and Caleb gets instructions to drive a bit to meet up with someone, and he tells Dylan that they can turn back, but he refuses, says he wants the money. They go to the barn. A few guys come out with flashlights and guns. The one guy's really pissed that them delivering, and they're not told about the change in plans, that chick would be there. They searched Caleb and Dylan. They find a gun on Caleb and take it. The guy tells the two to face the truck, get down on their knees. It's such an intense scene here. I mean, it just shows the job that Dylan has. It's very intense stuff, and Caleb tells them that's all good. They have no issues. They're delivering and leaving. The guy says they're not paying up. They are to kill them. The guy puts a gun to Dylan's head. He tells him he's going to be the message to take back. And Caleb reaches into the side of the truck, gets his gun, shoots the guy before he has a chance to shoot Dylan in the head. And Dylan and Caleb scramble to get out of the place alive. And that was insane. So Romero's in his car. He has a flash drive. He calls his district attorney. And he's going to find out who, of course, committed this murder without Norma's help or not. It seems like at this point he's now on his own. And I feel bad that, Norma's not on his side now. But, she kind of did that to herself. So James is packing his things to leave when Norma drives up. He tells her that he got this shit kicked out of him from some guys who want information about her. He says he's leaving the town and she should do the same, and he never ever wants her to contact him again. And you can see why. I mean, obviously he was beaten up by Bob Harris and everything, and all that information that she told him backfired, and that's why James, told Romero everything. And it's all going really tragic. I mean, everything was going so well for Norma, and now it's all being ruined, and it's really sad to see. So Norma runs home. She finds Norman in the basement. She tells him that the night she ran away, she ended up at James' house. She told him things like how his father died, that he killed his father. And Norma says that James told this bad man, the man who wants to do things to them. And Norman's upset. He screams at her, asks her how she could do it. She yells back at him and tells him that he has no idea how hard it is to be his mother with his blackouts. And Norma, Norman then apologizes and tells him to lay low. She's gonna fix this, and Norman's upset, and Norma's gone, but he sees his mother in front of him, wearing a very provocative dress, and she makes a pass at him, and all of a sudden, Norman's dog just starts to take off from the house running, and Norman tries to run after him, but he can't catch up, and Norman's then walking. He sees a car stopped, and this is probably one of the best endings Bates Motel has ever done. I thought this was an amazing ending. There we see this girl standing looking at flashing lights on the bridge. She turns around, calls out to Norman, and it's Bradley. Bradley's back, and I'm so happy Bradley's back. I mean, they did so much with her character in Season 2, and then she, of course, left the show, so I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do with her for the rest of the season. I'm really happy that she decided to come back because she's a great actress, and she's a really great character, and I just want to see what they want to do with Bradley. But this was an amazing episode, definitely. Definitely setting up a very intense last 2 episodes. Let's talk about Norma first. Pretty much everything great in Norma's life just went to shit. I mean, she lost James, she lost, trust of Romero, and now Norman has feelings for her, and this is not going to turn out well at all. But what's going to happen now that Bradley's back? What is Bradley going to do for Norman? Is she possibly going to help him? Is Norman going to get back together with Bradley? I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities of what could definitely end up happening there. I don't really know what's going to happen between Norman and Bradley. We'll have to see. Now as far as James goes, obviously James is leaving town. He wants nothing to do with Norma. Is he gonna somehow start something against Norma? I could definitely see it happening. Bob Harris is definitely the big villain right now. I mean, yeah, Norman's like the big villain, but Bob Harris is also a big villain as well. Caleb and Dylan, I don't know what's going to happen to them, but they are definitely in a very dire situation, and this is a very dangerous job that they're doing, and they need to figure out how to make it less dangerous, and I don't really know what's going to happen to them, but I guess we'll see what happens. Emma, I like that Emma told Norman no, but what is she going to do now? Is she going to possibly get together with Dylan? I don't really know. I mean, she says she doesn't really want romance, so we'll see what happens, I guess, and I guess the only other question is, what do you think of this whole Norman thing? Definitely, we know where it's going. We know that these two are eventually going to get sexually attracted, and he's going to have sex with her. We know what's going to happen eventually, and Romero and Norma, do you think that their relationship is over? Is there a way that she can apologize to Romero? Can she fix things with Romero? I don't really know if Norma can fix things with Romero. I know she wants to. I just don't know if Norma can. Even if she wants to, I just don't think Norma at this point can fix things with Romero. We'll just see how things go overall. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, guys, amazing episode. Absolutely loved it. And I can't wait for the last 2 episodes. This has been such an amazing season. And that's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review of tonight's episode of The Flash. So I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.